Hello, this is James Johnson, and welcome to a review of my time at Portia. Just gonna hop into my currently going game. If you've never heard of my time at Portia, the simplest way to describe this game would be Stardew Valley as a theme park instead of a sandbox. So during this review, you will hear me compare this to Stardew Valley a lot. So it's got kind of cartoony graphics, if you will. And you know what? For this genre, I'm perfectly okay with that. There are something about these particular cartoony graphics that I actually don't mind that much. I know that's a bit different than what I said about Civ 6, but these are different. These they seem to be appropriate to the game. And so, I'm okay with that. Inside of my time at Portia, you do a lot of crafting. And you do a lot of crafting for storyline missions. Thankfully, at this point in time, which is a very, very rare thing, I don't have a mission. Which is like, it's just absolutely incredible. And it's the perfect chance to be able to get in a review video of the game, because this game is nothing if not non-stop missions that make you feel like you're needed to save the town. You have to save the world. You're constantly saving the world, and you're constantly on the clock. And that is one of the problems I have with my time at Portia compared to Stardew Valley. So I have been doing a lot of thinking about this. These two games are so similar in so many ways. They have so many of the exact same ingredients, but yet I vastly prefer Stardew Valley. Even though the graphics are technically better than this, even though the days are longer than this, even though there's so many reasons I should prefer this title over Stardew Valley. And really what it ultimately boils down to, I think, for me, is that I am a sandbox player. I've always preferred sandboxes to theme parks. I want to be able to go do things at my leisure when I feel like doing them. And in my time at Portia, you're not on your leisure. You're constantly feeling rushed by the storyline, which is very different than Stardew Valley, where in Stardew Valley they kind of like give you a story, but it's really up to you, the player, to progress it and at your leisure. So you have the community center, right, which is kind of the primary thing that progresses Stardew Valley, and when you accomplish parts of the community center and things in Stardew Valley, it's really whenever you felt like doing it. Where inside of my time at Portia, you get your mail, and your mail is saying, hey, you need to save our town once again. The water's poisoned. The stuff has gone missing. Whatever. It's non-stop emergency that needs you, the greatest builder in Portia, well, the second greatest builder in Portia, to solve the problem. Even though Higgins, who's a very capable builder, who you have to compete with constantly, is more than capable of solving all of these issues. And I wish they would outsource a lot of the stuff that they keep giving me to Higgins to do, because I would rather spend more time doing what I want to do and less time of what the game thinks I need to do. And so yes, that is my I guess my biggest, the biggest difference of my time at Portia compared to Stardew Valley is that this is really kind of a theme park. It's really mission driven, whereas Stardew Valley is really at your leisure. And ultimately, that is, I think, why I do prefer to Stardew Valley. But that doesn't mean this is a bad game. This is a brilliant game. There is so many, well, how do I put this? So Stardew Valley was a brilliant game, and if you copy the recipe of Stardew Valley and you do it really well, like my time at Portia has, well, you can't make a bad game. This game is impossible to be bad, basically. They have taken an award-winning recipe and, well, they've created a game that I can't help but recommend to everyone to try and give it a go. This is an excellent game. So, what should I do right now? Since this is one of the only days I've had since I've played the game where I actually get to choose what I want to do. In Stardew Valley, I love to fish, and sadly, the fishing in my time at Portia is a lot more simplistic. Fishing just doesn't quite do it for me in my time at Portia. Well, you have to fish at these little fish spots where you see the fish in the water, so you can't just fish anywhere. Where, you know, in Stardew Valley you can fish everywhere, and that feels far more realistic to me. And then at the same time you have bait, so you have limited amounts of casts that you can do based off the amount of bait you have. Even though bait is somewhat affordable, it's still, you know, a resource that goes away. And then the fishing minigame itself is far more simplistic than Stardew Valley, which I found the Stardew Valley fishing minigame far more interactive and interesting. I guess I'll clean the property around my house, get rid of these trees. And so this is what you find yourself doing a lot of in my time at Portia. There's a lot of the collection of resources, but typically the collection of resources is sparked by the need for crafting something in particular. So my time at Portia is very, it's far more crafting oriented and far less farming oriented than Stardew Valley. And I actually don't really like that either. I do like the crafting to an extent, but one things I don't like about the crafting in my time at Portia is just how convoluted? No, that's a bad term. It's not how time intensive it is to craft anything. So you get these missions and you need to make a water wheel, for instance, and the water wheel, it uses a lot of resources, and your machines are tied up for a day or two just smelting the necessary bricks to then turn into different components to make this ultimate build. And so, you know, any of these earth-breaking builds that the town needs so desperately me to accomplish, they'll take a day or two or three, and I don't like the time that it takes to do these builds. I far more prefer a crafting-oriented game where I don't know, it's more mass production and less singular production, more where I accomplish far more in a given day than than just managing to make half of the resources I need to make the thing I need after 2 or 3 days of acquiring resources. It just feels far less rewarding. I know it seems like I'm basically saying negative things about my time at Portia, and that's because I'm comparing it to Stardew Valley. So I feel Stardew Valley is well, far more open-ended and far more rewarding feeling on a day-by-day basis compared to my time at Portia. But still, don't put that off. Don't take my criticism and say, you know, looks like my time at Portia is a game I want to avoid, because you don't want to avoid my time at Portia. Games like Stardew Valley, for instance, Stardew Valley was what, Game of the Year 2 years in a row? It won Steam Awards 2 years in a row. I think it's the only game that won Steam Awards 2 years in a row. I mean, Stardew Valley is just, you know, games like that only come around once in a lifetime, and so a game like this that follows the recipe so closely to Stardew Valley is really a great game in and of itself. And so with that being said, if you like games like Stardew Valley, you should absolutely give my time at Portia a try. It is an incredible game. You can get married in the game, you have socialization in the game, you have pets. There's a stray cat wandering around the streets named Pinky that I've been trying to coerce into becoming my friend so it'll move into me for some time now. I mean, there's just so many little things to do within this game that it's an enjoyable experience, but sadly you're so often on the clock, and so often you feel pressured to accomplish the storyline. Like I said, we're in the 4th season of the year. This is the first day in almost an entire year in which I haven't had a storyline mission hanging over my head saying, you need to accomplish something really fast because our town is in desperate need of, you know, the tree farm is going to die, or people are drinking contaminated water, or whatnot else. And that's kind of what I feel my time at Portia, where it could use some work. I feel my time at Portia needs more downtime, more time to yourself, more sandbox-oriented content. More time for me to be the master of my destiny, and less of my destiny being dictated by my mailbox. But with that being said, my time at Portia is just, you know, it's a fabulous game. I'm just going to run over here and just show off some of the things I've done inside of this game. So I built this incredible water wheel over here, and this was no small task, let me tell you. The drainage system, the aqueduct system there, I think Higgins built that. But the water wheel itself, I'm all responsible for it. So inside of this little house is an engine, and I made that engine. And I made that engine to make this huge water wheel go around and pick up the water. which then gets deposited into the aqueduct system up there. Uh-oh. I need to go to bed. I'm going to be in a world of trouble here. And the aqueduct system, well, it just automatically appeared. I didn't build that. So I credit that to Higgins. Higgins must have done that. Higgins did an amazing job on that aqueduct. Alright, I'm going to pass out here soon. I'm not even going to make it to the house. This is not good. I've never passed out in the open before. I guess I'm sleeping in Emily's field. Hey, I somehow made it to the house. Look, I've got full stamina. Well, I guess I should pass out more often. Look, my mailbox isn't telling me I need to do something today. But the tree's sparkling, which means I need to harvest some niter from the tree. Just show you some of the crafting. So, you know, at this particular crafting station, I can make all these things, right? Fiber, cloth, rope, leather, etc. In a system, this is a smelter. These are things I can smelt. This is kind of the workbench where, you know, I can make these handcrafted with a workbench type things. And there's quite a few. Of course, you have to upgrade the workbench. There's several iterations of that. All in all, it's a very in-depth crafting game. And then there's the assembly station. This is where it's really all really complex, right? So some of these things are quite tough. Like, here's the water engine that was inside of the house. It required 2 small engines, 4 steel plates, 12 carbon steel bar. It turns into 4 steel plates, excuse me. 5 old parts, 2 bearings, and in order to make this you need lead ore and tin ore to turn into tin alloy to turn into bearings, and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's very, you know, here's the water wheel. It takes 12 large buckets. The large buckets are made at the crafting table out of stuff. Hardwood, carbon steel bar, which charcoal and iron ore. Wood turns into charcoal, and old parts. And how you make these things is you just, you know, you pick one and you hit build. Like, okay, build a stone furnace. Then you run up to here and you put the items in it, right? It's really kind of neat. All in all, I think that I think this game is just, it's brilliant. It is a brilliant Stardew Valley-like game. If you liked Stardew Valley, there's no reason you should not like My Time at Portia. However, if you tend to be more of a sandbox-oriented player over a theme park type playstyle, you may still find yourself preferring Stardew Valley over My Time at Portia. However, if you are a theme park-oriented player, you prefer more structured content, then My Time at Portia may be even more fun for you than Stardew Valley was. But ultimately, they are very similar games, and no matter who you are, if you love Stardew Valley, you should definitely give My Time at Portia a try. Anyway, this has been James Johnson, and this has been my quick review of My Time at Portia. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and as always, thank you for watching, and peace.